So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. So a few episodes ago, I brought us the story of the General Overseer of the Omega Power Ministry Church, OPM, in the person of Apostle CHIBUZOR Gift. I told us that story and all the brouhaha that happened with him and the Chicken Republic boys, aka the Happy Boys. We all know how that viral video showing these two boys, who were at that time security officers at one of Nigeria's biggest eateries, Chicken Republic, and how they were dancing on duty and entertaining people at the eatery without being asked to. We heard that story and how eventually they allegedly lost their jobs, how they came out to say that the company asked them to leave on account of that incident. We also know how that the OPM swung into action, offering them scholarship, not in Nigeria, not in Covenant, not in Babcock, offering them full sponsored scholarship all the way in Cyprus. Obodo Yibo. We also know how they eventually took to social media, calling out Pastor CHIBUZOR for abandoning them halfway in the middle of their program. They said that they kept on calling the pastor, sending him voice notes and messages, telling him that they are suffering, they're sleeping in the cold, their school fees are not being paid, they do not have an accommodation again to lay their head, and Pastor CHIBUZOR was not being responsive, so they took to social media to call him out. And they didn't only stop at calling him out for abandoning them and the promise he made to see them through school, they went further to accuse him of witchcraft, sorcery, babalawo, black magic. They said that he was trying to use their star, their shine, and their destiny for his own personal financial gratification. So that was where the last story ended. We had on the one hand the set of people who strongly accused them of being ingrates, telling them that the pastor has done his best, that even our parents sometimes give us promises and they are unable to fulfill them. Even our parents sometimes send us abroad or put us in school and halfway they are unable to continue paying the school fees. Does it mean that you will come on social media to call your mother out? Hello? They opined that these boys would have taken up to some kind of hustle and helped themselves abroad instead of crossing their leg and waiting for the apostle to help them to do everything. Now that was on the one hand. On the second hand, we had this set of people who verbally berated Pastor CHIBUZOR. They claimed that it was entirely wrong for the pastor to go ahead making lofty promises that he was unable to keep, taking a decision on other people's lives without a well thought out and well crafted sustainability plan to pull it through till the end. So according to this set of people, it was entirely Pastor CHIBUZOR's fault. So that was where it ended. But for now, a lot of updates have come up. So first, Pastor CHIBUZOR released a statement, sort of apologizing, owning up that, oh yes, I am sorry for not being able to continue. It was due to situations and circumstances way beyond my control and influence. He said that he had problem with FX, the FX rate going up, church money not coming as often as it used to because of the cash crunch. He gave a lot of reasons why he couldn't sustain that education abroad, and then he went ahead to offer that these young lads come back home. Come to your father's land where your umbilical cord has been buried. Come back. I am sorry. I have admitted. He told them to come back home so he can fix them in a decent private university here in Nigeria, or perhaps send them to a neighboring African country, maybe Cote d'Ivoire, Republic of Benin, or Ghana to complete their education. Modest, right? But when these guys heard this thing, they were like, wait first, Cheregodi, Emma Binu, don't be angry, wait. What did you say, Pastor? Repete? Kilon Soro, what say you? That we should leave Obodo Yibo, we should leave the abroad and come back to Nigeria. After testing Obodo Yibo, after snapping picture in the snow with our winter jackets, we should come back to where? We should now return to Nigeria, to the red sand of Enugu, and do what? Pastor, if it is a joke, stop this rough play. We don't like it. We die here. So in a nutshell, these guys, these fellas, declined Pastor CHIBUZOR's offer for them to come back and complete their education in Nigeria. They thanked the pastor for the much that he had done, saying that they wished to continue on their own to be 100% responsible for themselves abroad. They also released series of videos apologizing to the OPM pastor for how they handled the situation. And people are like, oh, wow. So you think you know something? You think you know something? So you could hustle before and try to make way as a correct Nigerian guy for yourself, but you sat there, cross your leg, waiting for Pastor Chibuzor to gather money, tithes and offerings, seed faith from poor indigent people in Nigeria, and now sent to you, convert it to and now sent to you abroad to sustain and maintain your lifestyle. You are a joker. While all you do is to smoke like chimneys and go to club popping golden bottles. So you knew that you could hustle to sustain and assist the pastor. It's all right. Well, further investigations by me and people like me have even revealed that Chicken Republic released an official statement denying claims that these guys were fired on account of that incident, or fired at all even. They said they didn't fire them, that they were surprised to come online and read that they had fired the boys because they were dancing. So is it possible that the Happy Boys even planned, orchestrated and executed this well thought out script from the onset with the sole intention of gathering public sympathy? Was this whole thing a well-acted drama? It's alright. Let us let sleeping dogs and cats lie. Let us not wake them up. So let us move on. Ever since these Happy Boys announced that they were not coming back to Nigeria and they pledged to be solely responsible for themselves in Cyprus, we have been seeing 1 or 2 videos of them taken to the stage to hustle, and we really loved to see it. We heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that all of the drama and the brouhaha with Daddy G.O. of OPM was finally over. But shockingly, it was far from over. Only shortly after this drama between Daddy OPM and the Happy Boys came to an end, it was closely followed by another heated drama. You will recall that in the last video I made on this topic, I made mention of the story of Deborah. Deborah Samuel was a student of the Shehu Shagari College of Education there in Sokoto. She was most unfortunately lynched and killed by her fellow students on the allegation of alleged blasphemy. Horrible stuff. After that incident happened, her family was so distraught, so devastated, so traumatized that they swore that none of their children would ever step their foot into any school for the rest of their lives. Well, this stirred compassion in the heart of this same pastor, Pastor Chibuzor, and he took to his Facebook account to announce his intention to help them. Pastor Chibuzor went ahead to facilitate their relocation all the way from Niger State to the oil city of Port Harcourt in Rivers. He rented a comfortable 3-bedroom apartment for them, well equipped, fully furnished. He then opened a business for Deborah's mother, an eatery, a food business, something like a canteen, right in the church premises, where she can benefit from the influx of attendees and church members who frequent the vicinity. He didn't stop there. For Deborah's siblings, I think there are about 3 or 4 of them, he enrolled them in the church's free education program. So they were going to school, their uniforms, their upkeep, books, tuition and everything fully funded by the church. And for Deborah's father, he got Deborah's father a Toyota vehicle for him to begin a taxi business to enable him fend for himself and his family. He was not only giving them fish, the apostle was setting them up to be able to catch fish. But if you guessed that was all, well, you guessed wrong. Because Pastor Chibuzor went ahead to donate a mini estate with 14 flats to Deborah's family. So aside the money they will be getting from their daily hustles, they can get periodic lump sums to be able to offset big bills and cater to bigger responsibilities. The rents for all 14 flats were to be paid, and were indeed paid, to the family of Deborah. Any sane person with cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata would agree that Pastor CHIBUZOR, or the apostle, had done more than enough to settle, to establish, to empower this family. But guys, 1 year after, only 1 year after, Hagwa mile. Just 1 year after, this family, in an exclusive interview that they granted to the Foundation of Investigative Journalists, revealed that they were suffering and are not living well. Mr. Garba complained very bitterly that the vehicle that was given to him by the apostle developed series of faults and that he was not able to cope with the cost of its repairs, so he had to park the vehicle at home. He lamented that his rent was due, he cannot cater to his children, he cannot feed his family, he is cash strapped, he's going through financial crisis, he can't do this, he can't do that. He said he had spoken to the personal assistants of the general overseer and that nothing was done. Some people were like, this pastor again? This pastor again? It is as though this pastor specializes on capitalizing on viral and trending pity stories to drive traffic to himself and chase clouds. They were like, why all these half-baked helps? Why? Why, when you want to do something, why not do it well? Why constantly take people from their comfort zone and bring them to a new place and leave them high and dry? They argued that Pastor CHIBUZOR, of all people, should understand that a faulty vehicle spends more time in the mechanic's workshop than in the garage is more of a liability than an asset. They were like, why couldn't he ensure that the vehicle was in perfect condition before handing it over to Deborah's father? They further inquired why the pastor should rent a 300,000 naira house for them without caring if they had the capacity to renew the rent as and when due. They faulted the apostle 100%. Now that is on the one hand. On the other hand, we have this set of people who are like, wow, 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 wow. Help a rich man and you make a friend, but help a poor man and you are sure to make an enemy. They were like, listen, it is not only the lack of financial capacity that makes a man poor or that poor people are characterized with. They were like, there is the mindset, the behavioral tendencies, their ideologies, their characters. All these things are mostly inherent in this set of people, hence making emancipating them from poverty a near impossible task. They were like, a man has built a toilet for you. He ensured that the WC is working perfectly fine, so it flushes. He provided you with toilet paper so you can clean yourself up after defecating, and then you dare fault the man for not wiping your ass after you use the loo. These set of people were thrown into shock. They were shocked. They were like, little wonder, very, very little wonder, shrewd and mean people survive, thrive, succeed, make it to the zenith of their careers and all spheres of life, while kind-hearted people don't last. This apostle that found you in your lowest and offered help to you, what the government couldn't do, what the Christian Association of Nigeria couldn't do, what the courts and the judges haven't done. This man picked you from your place in the far north, away from the vicinity of your trauma, and brought you out to a new city, gave you a new accommodation, set you up in new businesses, gave you a car, sending your children to school. What more could you possibly ask of this man? Even the father admitted that the apostle usually calls them intermittently from time to time to check up on them. What more was the apostle supposed to do? Was he supposed to leave his ministration and come to the shop and serve Deborah's mother's customers rice and beans and drive the car for Deborah's father? What was he supposed to do? What was even a lot more surprising for a lot of people was when Deborah's father said that the apostle committed and was ready to send one of their children to go and school in the neighboring country of Benin Republic. And he declined. that the offer that was told to him was that he was traveling abroad to Europe, not in Africa. So he declined to go to school in Africa. The father took him. It's not the pastor that said it. It was Deborah's father that said it with his mouth. And after everything he did, you had the impetus to grant an interview saying that you are suffering, you are not living well, tarnishing the name of the pastor and his church. There were like some human beings are ingrates, and doing good many times doesn't automatically mean that you will be repaid with good. A lot of people even went ahead to suggest that if they're wearing the pastor's shoes, they would have bundled this family back to Niger State for them to continue their enjoyment there. Since they said they are suffering here in Port Harcourt, they are not living well. Let them, oh, I'm very sorry for bringing you out of your paradise. Go back and continue your enjoyment. This was a suggestion on a lot of people's lips. And for them, they swore that if they were in Pastor OPM's shoes, that will be the end of charity, because human beings are very wicked and ungrateful, and every time he tries to do good, it always backfires on him. So they advised Pastor CHIBUZOR to discontinue anything about helping anybody again and just face his front and face his ministration. So what do you think, guys? Do you honestly think that there is something that Pastor CHIBUZOR is not doing right? Do you think that there's something that he's doing wrongly? Do you have any suggestion as to what he could do differently? Come on, this is one too many call-outs. Do you think he has a fault in all of these? Or do you think that he's just an unfortunate, kind-hearted person? And in the world that we live in today, kind-hearted people always get their hearts broken. Do you think that Pastor CHIBUZOR should hearken to the advice of these people and discontinue anything charity again? Like, I know help, I know do. Like, stop offering people help. After all, we know one or two pastors who are a lot more affluent than him, who run even bigger churches than him, but we haven't even come to the knowledge of any person, any family, any individual that they have helped in such a way that Pastor OPM has. They are just on their own, doing their thing and minding their business, and their names are not getting smeared like this. So do you think that Pastor OPM should mind his business henceforth, discontinue all these charity announcements and charity doing? Or do you encourage him not to be deterred and that he should keep doing the good work that he is doing? Drop your opinion down in the comment section. And again, on this Deborah's family's case, do you think that there's any sense in what people are saying, or did Pastor CHIBUZOR to send them back to where he got them from? Since despite all the investment he made on them, they were still unable to take it up from there and fend for themselves. Maybe they'll fare better in their villages. Do you think Pastor CHIBUZOR should take them back to the north where he got them from? Or do you think that he should constantly keep giving them fish, since teaching them how to fish has turned out to be completely impossible? Drop all your thoughts down in the comment section. And finally, in what is sure to be the most damaging of all call-outs is the alleged infidelity stroke paternity saga involving, once again, this pastor. A young lady who simply addressed herself as Lovina has taken to social media to give some very damaging and incredible revelations. According to this lady, she began attending the OPM church because she volunteered to take care of an abandoned HIV-positive baby whose parents deserted when they found out his status. She explains that she was staying with the child at the hospital, cooking and bringing for the child, and that the pastor was 100% responsible for the care and treatment of that baby. According to her again, when they got discharged, the apostle gave a mandate that they come over to his house to live, which they did. She further explained that within a short time, the apostle approached her for sex. After one or two back and forths, she yielded. And along the line, she got pregnant for the apostle. Note very clearly that I am recounting the story as told by this lady. She revealed that the apostle forced her to commit paternity fraud by putting the pregnancy on a church member another guy. Now, this lady didn't just stop with verbal accusation. She came with receipts that were signed and sealed. This lady released series of chats, truckloads of them, purportedly had between her and the apostle. And in those chats, first and foremost, the apostle actually admitted fathering that child. He also admitted in that chat that there were several other children that he had fathered that way from other church members. In their conversation, they were arguing about whose name and identity was going to be used to process the child's international passports. And the apostle was allegedly urging the lady to use her father's name, but the lady was insisting that her child has a father and it's a crime and a fraud to that child to make him bear another man's name when his father was alive, hale, hearty, and capable. So there were plenty of very revealing, very shocking exchange of conversations between the both of them. And this lady eventually said, she opened a can of worms, trust me. She even went ahead to say that not only does the apostle impregnate young church members, and many of them have children for him, she said that the apostle was in the habit of sleeping with members of his congregation who were minors, underaged children. Upon hearing this, a cold chill ran up and down people's spines. They were like, no, 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 no. Their surprise and shock was not due to the fact that it is novel hearing about these kinds of allegations levied against the pastor, especially in Nigeria. Their surprise laid in the fact that it was Pastor CHIBUZOR, of all pastors. They were least expecting such, not even as a rumor. So once again, people wondered if Apostle CHIBUZOR Gift was merely a victim who constantly ran out of luck, or could there be more to him than meets the eyes? Do let us know your thoughts, reaction, and feedback down in the comment section. Well, could it be pre-existing health condition? Or would it be safe to assume that all of this social media drama and public brouhaha is seriously getting to the pastor and taking a toll on him? Because only a few days ago, he was filmed collapsing at the airport on his way to board a flight. While some people wished him good health and a speedy recovery, the Chicken Republic boys, the Happy Boys, who had once benefited immensely from his charitable works, took to social media to jeer at him, mock him, and laugh at him, dropped in a cryptic message who even a blind man will know who it was directed at. They said, the picture is getting clearer. God will vindicate his people. The lion's offspring is never used for sacrifice. The bone go choke your neck. Well, that is all that has happened. That is all the updates so far in this story involving the General Overseer of the Omega Power Ministries, OPM, in the person of Apostle Gift CHIBUZOR. We will continue watching and observing as more and more facts unfold. And you can be sure that I will certainly bring it to your notice. Thank you for watching. So guys, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, or if you've been watching me without subscribing, watching me from the corners, cutting the corners, watching me from the window, come in. We don't hurt here, we don't bite. And if you have been enjoying all the wonderful goodness I bring to you guys on this channel, and you haven't shared my videos, you haven't shared my content, you haven't forwarded to your WhatsApp or your Facebook, you haven't asked a friend to subscribe to my channel, or told a friend to tell a friend, it is not too late. Come on board, hit the subscribe icon, join the farm, turn on your bell notifications, share the video to all your social media platforms, drop a comment if you have any feedback or suggestions or any feelings that you would like to share, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.